Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, our Patriot Bald Eagle. If you have to hit pause on this video to get your coffee or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a lengthy discussion. Guys, I've been holding off on this one. Been waiting for the right moment, as it's something that has been aggravating probably every one of us, whether it's the right thing, whether it's the wrong thing. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. We got new tariffs coming in. It's a situation that we are inevitably going to deal with. I feel like we were going to inevitably deal with this either way. So I've been hearing from a lot of you guys, and I've been hearing from some other sources that I have that I will leave unnamed, but we are expecting higher prices. When we tax other things, things get higher taxed. Hopefully it all balances out. I think for the recent, or for the present future, the near future, I think it's going to be tough. I think that we've already lived in a world over the last few years where we have seen grocery prices, a lot of grocery prices, nearly double. One reason we always talk about buying up the sales as we see them is because that is really the only way to save these days and not overspend. And I say over because we're going to always overspend for what we're paying for in this day and age. It has gotten so absurd in a lot of different grocery stores and beyond. We talk about a lot of different food because everybody needs to eat. Okay? But there are other things. One thing I've been hearing that prices are going to go up on after these, I believe some of these new tariffs take effect on Saturday, which is tomorrow. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Although this is not a so happy video as I wish it was. This is information, though, that I think we need to discuss because it does involve what we do on this channel here. And that is mostly try to help save you guys money, try to help save us money in the process as we go along. And as we go along, some of the things that I can say over the last few months have been pretty good. We have found some of the best deals that we have found in years, at least at the grocery stores. We have seen where cars have started to come down a little bit on new cars. But depending on how this all works and how the tariffs get reversed on us and different things, car parts could start going up too, which in turn will raise the price of cars. And I just wanted to talk about this a little bit here because, for one, like I said, it's something we've been covering for a long time now. A long time. I don't know if this is going to immediately affect grocery stores, but from a couple sources that I have seem to think that it will, or a strong possibility. Now, if there's anything in this world that I can say about stores and manufacturers and food, you know, different outlets that sell said products to these major supermarkets, grocery stores, it's unpredictable. It's always unpredictable. So the not knowing is the knowing that we need to be prepared for this. Now, I know we talk to a lot of different types of people who shop different ways. Some people where they go out and they'll spend $1,000 at Sam's Club for a family of 4 or 5 or 6. And then that's all the shopping they do for a month. Or we have people that go maybe every couple days. Maybe, like, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to not only go to different stores on a daily basis, but to kind of get a good idea of what's going on for the best prices to help try and save, like I said, you and I, as much money as we can. Now, there's been some different things, you know, we talk about preppers, what I like to call it smart shopping, okay, because smart shopping as in what we say, buying up different deals as we see them helps you save money on that in the future. When you look at the simple thing of buying a box of Ritz crackers for $2 today, then saving $2.29 of the future, and if we continue to buy these things as we see them on the different sales, then we're paying what those prices were years ago on what the sale is. And I know some of this may sound confusing. I may confuse myself here at some point in this conversation because I don't really know where to go or how to describe what could happen. But again, the not knowing what could happen, or the not knowing of what's going to happen, is the knowing that we need to make sure that we understand what could happen and what will probably happen. Now, I have been trying to be as positive as possible in everything going on. I understand that there are still things that are going up in price. There always will be. We have a lot of viewers, but thank you, and continue to comment on items and products in your city and state. Let us know, because we are starting to reach a huge audience on our channel here. And what you do helps maybe your neighbor. Like, say you live in Memphis, Tennessee, okay? And you abbreviate Memphis, Tennessee. I went here, this went, eggs are $6 or whatever. When we first started doing this years ago, everybody, a much smaller channel back then. So I understand, we're talking to a lot more people now. Excuse me. But in doing that, we were mapping out areas where prices were going up. We knew what areas and where they were going up. And then helping your neighbor say, because that person may not, be able to drive. They may rely on public transportation. They may not have enough money to get public transportation. And that's on to my next point here, is dealing with multiple different types of shopping or people, right? Your budget may not allow you to be able to stock up on all these items at one time. I always say stock up on all the sales as you see them, but I do keep in the back of my mind that everybody can't do that. That you have to work within the means of your budget and finance your life. And that's sad, isn't it? That's sad to have to say that you have to plan out your life ahead of your schedule to try and be able to get by and know that to make food for your family or just yourself if you're by yourself. These are things that we shouldn't have to plan so hard. It shouldn't be this difficult, but it is, and it's probably going to get a little more difficult here over the next couple months. Very hard for me to say that. Very hard for me to say that because we have worked so hard to try and stay in that fine line of being able to at least keep it together enough to where, at least to where there's a balance, where you can make a balance with your work, your home, and most importantly, your budget on food. I look at me and Jessica and I think, compared to what most people, I feel like we have it pretty easy because we only have us. We don't have children. We don't have kids. Most of you do. And that is difficult. That is very difficult. That really adds to an enormous amount of money that you have to spend on food. I've done the math on a lot of what our families on the channel here have given me, the different numbers and stuff like that. And it is, you have to, I feel like half of your month of work has to be planned on what you're going to eat. And it's, as sad as that may be, it takes careful planning. It takes managing your money well. I think that's easier to do when you are, when you don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We have to manage our money well in the areas that we can so that we can save money in other areas for future events or whatever the future holds. So, just wanted to chat about this a little bit tonight with you guys because I felt like this is very important. It looks like some of these things are going to take effect tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's not as a significant blow as some are saying. But I've learned as I get older and maybe a teeny tiny bit wiser that if there is anything to be expected of something, it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. Basically, to sum it up, that's basically what I'm saying. And you can prepare in many different ways. Mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is you think you need to do to keep your mind right and your body right and your health right. And that is, what we're getting to is that with all of this going on, with these price increases and it's going to be virtually a lot more than just food. We're probably going to be seeing other things go up as well. I'm not surprised to see, house prices start to go on the rise again. Banks a little short to let out loans. Very high interest rates at that. Car insurance, from what a lot of you guys have been saying, has gone up again. Mine actually came down a few dollars, like $4, right? Came down like $4 on a per month basis. Which, from what it went up last year, I think they just did that so that I don't switch to someone else. Because if you guys remember, if you've been on the channel for a while, I said if it goes up another $1, I'm switching companies. Maybe they watched my video. Maybe they saw the video and they were like, all right, Dan, we're going to knock it down $4 a month or whatever it is. 40, 50 something dollars a year. I don't know. $48 a year I'm saving. Woohoo! Does it amount, it's considering that the amount of what it was going to be last year when I called just about every insurance company in the country, the most that I would have saved from switching companies would have been like $5 a month or $60 a year. I just wasn't going to switch companies. It was every one of them doing that. And that's going to be every one of these companies. And I'm going to talk about something here for a couple minutes. I've had some questions on Publix, Kroger, different grocery stores and prices and stuff like that. There were a lot of people asking me, what I thought about Publix. I have talked about it. I like it. I like Publix, okay? A lot of the prices are outrageous. A lot of the prices are absolutely insane. The quality of things there is great. The bakery, the meats. Me and Jessica did have those ribeyes that I got from there. Those were delicious. Very fine cut of meat. I tried different things. The peanut butter is great. Absolutely fantastic. The white bread that you guys saw me get in that video is absolutely delicious. Now, butternut bread, which I've talked about in the past, Kroger sells. I compare Publix white bread to what butternut bread used to taste like. Butternut bread's like all flimsy now. It feels cheap, yet they're still charging a high price for it. Now, Publix, I believe is $1.71 for a loaf of bread, which for a store brand, it's about the same as it is everywhere else. Maybe a little cheaper at some other places. I think Walmart is still $1.42 for theirs. This was way better than Walmart, and like I said, it's what butternut used to taste like. Anyway, kind of going off, I just kind of wanted to talk about the comparison. I thought, and I still think, if they continue to build Publix up here around the northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, they're going to have to work out some different deals. When I just walking through Publix, I was like, this may work in Florida. It's not going to work here. You are in Kroger's area. Kroger has been knocking it out of the park with deals, and I hope that continues. I do think we're going to see some price increases. Now, I don't want you to freak out. No panic buying, okay? Let me just say I never encourage panic buying. Ever. I always say the slow burn, the slow buy, the smart buyers are the ones that are going to always have. And I understand, you know, and I do try to remember we talk to a lot of people who don't have a lot of money, who can't afford to just go out and stock up on things. But start doing the math. See what you can stock up on, because every little bit you save on each item is going to make or break the difference. Make the difference on what you get in the future and how much you're able to save in the future. A lot of people are having to make sacrifices for their families and their food and everything. Everything. I saw gas just went back up. Gas was $2.99 here, and then it's $3.29. I think it's $3. Somebody said it was $3.19. Might have gone back down to $3.19, but that's another thing. I don't know how they get. You know, if we see a difference in prices of things coming over here and getting taxed a lot more of products coming over here, and ultimately paying more for these said products, the only thing that will keep it at bay from skyrocketing in price to the point of no return is gas prices. Because transportation, especially in this country, is everything when it comes to gasoline. And that is something we absolutely need to stay down. We need that to come down to balance out where we are already. If that continues to go up, if it continues to go up, we're in trouble. I mean, it's going to get very expensive. So, just wanted to chat about this for a little while. It's been a lot of you guys have been sending us emails and talking about this stuff down in the comments. I'm trying to just put what facts I know out there. My opinion of it all is sort of irrelevant, because the way I look at it is this is going to happen no matter what. Prices seem like, you know, things are working out in different ways to where the rich are just getting richer. Greed has taken over. So when things get too crazy, right, as they have, like, you know, with eggs and stuff. Of course, there's other reasonings for egg prices, which they are starting to slowly come down. But when there's a product that gets overly outrageous, out of reach for just about anybody, well, then it's up to us to not buy that product. You know, in 2008, when gas prices were over $4 a gallon, I remember at a young age, I was like, even being, you know, as young as I was back then, I knew, I was like, this is not good. I knew right away, not even thinking of covering prices and stuff like that in the future. I knew right away, I was like, this is going to cause all kinds of price increases on things. Well, what happened? What happened that ultimately drove those gas prices down? People quit driving. You go to Walmart, Target, anywhere. There were no bicycles. People were buying a $100 bike. Well, maybe not even $100 back then. Maybe they're 50, 60 bucks. Maybe 100. You know, anywhere around there. Even $100. It's like, well, that showed them. And those gas prices plummeted. Now, that's not the only reason. But a big reason of that is because people quit driving. And it may have been that you couldn't afford the gas. It may have been that you just didn't want to pay those prices. I haven't been paying $8 for 18 eggs. Not going to do it. Now, I told you guys in a previous video, I was like, well, you know, if we're going to do the egg decorating and stuff, I wasn't going to let $8 break me for keeping the kids happy on Easter. But as far as, no, I get a deal or I don't get them. I wait for a digital coupon. You know, we don't need eggs to survive, right? And I think a lot of people have been thinking that. And we see a lot of these ones that disappear. I wonder if a lot of the ones that have disappeared were basically, you know, people selling them to these stores saying, maybe we need to take a break. It's going to cost us more for the transportation than it's going to cost for us to actually get money back. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Kroger and these other companies were like, we need to try and sell ours. We're not going to buy these. We're putting this on hold. That sounds like a more likely story. Because when you have eggs at Kroger that cost more than Eggland's Best, I mean, that's what I've been hearing. Let us know down in the comments. I've been hearing from family members and friends, even family members that are buying Eggland's Best when they can find them, right? Because that's been the big trouble. Now they have been coming back in from what I hear, like Walmart. I saw some at Meijer, but Kroger's virtually low or out of Eggland's Best most of the time. Now they could be coming back in there now too. Now that things seem to be cooling off, prices are coming down a little bit, but not at the rate they were going up. It's going to take a while. Thank you to everyone who has left in the comments some of the different reasons why this happens and why it's going to take a while. Obviously, with everything that's been done, it's going to take egg-laying chickens a while for these to produce. Obviously, a lot of these things I don't talk about because I kind of look at it as like, I don't want to say common sense, but I mean, I guess I just go into it knowing these things and I don't say them all the time because we're talking about another subject or something. I try to cover as much stuff as I can in the grocery stores because I understand, I and you guys have to understand that and I've talked about this in the past, there's several types of eaters. There's several types of people that have grown up or have grown into eating a certain way or preparing your meals a certain way. Or, everybody can say, I'm sure that anybody would say it's healthier to cook your own meals. I don't say that. I don't judge. I don't judge people. You could tell me that I like eating Reese Cups for dinner. And, okay, I see this deal here on these Reese Cups. You want that for dinner? Old Danny Boy's going to tell you the sale. I'll tell you the cheapest place to get them. Or whatever that is. Whether that is TV dinners, right? Microwave meals. A lot of people get on here and say, oh, those are so unhealthy. They're so full of sodium and all that. And yeah, they might be. But hey, we have thousands of viewers that stock up on them. And they don't seem to have an issue with it. And I don't either because I don't judge. When I first started this channel, I wasn't very good at taking in criticism. I never really let you guys know that at first. Not that I wasn't good at it. It's like, I was like, okay, people were saying, we were in crazy times a couple years ago where prices were like doubling. And everybody was arguing about, oh, you shouldn't eat microwave meals. Oh, you shouldn't eat steak. Oh, you shouldn't eat chicken. And I got to the point where I was like, look, tell me what you like. I'll keep a mental note of that. And every time I find a sale on it, I'll tell you. I mean, we have viewers on the channel. I remember your specific stuff that you like to eat. I'm your personal chef as we go looking for prices. Well, not chef, but I mean personal shopper, right? We have our Velveeta lady. If I don't see it on sale, I usually don't mention it. But if I do, better believe I'm going to let you know. We have so much, guys. I try to go over, like around the holidays, I try to focus on a lot of home baking products, what's on sale. Ironically, this week, I went down the baking aisle, the different sugar and flour and everything at Kroger, which I've kind of been avoiding lately because we really haven't gotten a lot of comments on to check out some of those prices. We always get comments on coffee, which and especially with the heavy price increases on coffee and stuff like that, I always try to show the deals. Especially on items that we know are going up. If you remember a few years ago, I was showing all the different prices on toilet paper. How much that was skyrocketing. Where can we save here? Anything that I know is significantly going up in price every week, those are the things that I try to focus on. Beef. You may not eat beef, but it's one that I focus on because a lot of people do, and the prices have been soaring higher than what they even said it was going to 7 or 8 months ago. So guys, happy Friday. Just wanted to have this conversation. I do believe prices are going to go up. Again, I look at it as inevitable. I feel like either way, whether it was just a matter of time, right? So hopefully we continue to find the good deals that we have been in the stores. Hopefully it maintains. Hopefully gas prices come down to kind of, like I said, keep the balance to where at least maybe food prices don't go up, right? Because if we can do that, if we can keep food prices down through transportation, right? I think communication on all of this has really not been that good. Not through me, but through what has been going on with the tariffs and all that. I think communication has really been terrible. And I'm not one to explain how it's going to work or how it's all going to work. I don't think anybody really knows. But I do know that if we can keep gas down, we keep diesel down, which is the most important because of the trucks, then at least we can keep the balance of what the food prices are now, still get the deals for the good deals because they're still paying the same prices, right? And then we'll pay cheaper in gas. So it could work out better if this happens. Is it going to work that way? I really have no idea. But we're going to continue to keep an eye on everything and keep you guys posted, keep you guys up to date on this stuff as it goes along. Wanted to wait till it got to the last minute for some of this, and I know that's terrible, but these things have the tendency to be put off. As we saw like a month ago, this was stretched out for a 30-day period and different things. So, but it looks like it is happening now, and I just wanted to put this message out here so you guys, not to be scared, but to be prepared, be aware of what's going on and what we need to look into the future, what we need to look at to make sure that we're prepared for the future. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Really do appreciate that. Help spread the message out all around the world. Subscribe if you haven't already. And, you know, we'll continue to talk about these events as they play on. Let us know down in the comments your thoughts. If I missed anything here, which I probably did, let us know down in the comments. If you see anything, hear anything, post in the comments. If any price increases on things, anything that you're seeing, make sure you abbreviate your city and state, or just your state, so that we all kind of know which side of the map some of this stuff is going on. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.